Hello! I am back after such a long time without any uploads. I'm sorry it was such a long wait. I really don't have any excuse. But we are going to model the Nintendo Zapper in Blender. Let's get started. Also, this is not meant to be a tutorial. I'm sorry. First things first, I'm going to need a reference photo. So I'll add one by pressing Shift A. And the image is rotated all weird. I can fix this by pressing Alt R, which can clear any object's rotation. After setting up the image, I deleted the default cube for no other reason other than the fact that I'm a Blender user. Now we're ready to start modeling. The way I'm going to do this is that I will model all these different parts individually using different objects. This may seem confusing, but you'll see what I mean as you watch the video. Let's start with this part of the zapper. I added a circle, filled it by pressing F, and positioned it at the end of the zapper. After that, I pressed I to inset the face and deleted the center. Then I pressed E to extrude backward, and just like that, we have a tube. The tube on the zapper is a bit more detailed than what we've got here, but I will add all that later. For now, I moved on to this part of the zapper. For this, I added a cube and positioned it on the part I want to model. But I want to be able to see the reference photo. So I pressed Alt Z and now I could see through the cube. Many people prefer wireframe mode to see through the mesh, which you can enable by clicking on this icon. It's just another option. This is now just a matter of positioning vertices, so I'll let the time-lapse footage and stock music take it from here. And we're done with whoa! After a little bit of scaling, we have something that doesn't look too bad. Next, I want to model the handle. Is that what it's called? The handle? I don't know the terminology for shooty shooters. I'm pretty sure YouTube doesn't like the G word. Just like the previous thingamajigger, I added a cube and just put everything in place. And just like that, oh my lord! After finishing this part up, I then decided to model this thing back here. At first, I thought I could add a new circle and make the whole thing from scratch, but I noticed that it didn't look right. As it turned out, the solution was to make the tube in the back roughly the same size as the tube in the front. So I deleted the tube, and by pressing Shift D, I duplicated this ring of faces that was from the first tube and then extruded it. Now that looks a bit better. The next part to model is this weird looking cube. This looks like a pretty complicated shape, but I assure you it is actually pretty easy to make. Once again, I added a cube and positioned it where it needed to go. After some adjustments to the cube, I gave it some loop cuts. Notice how the yellow lines align with the image. I select those loops, and by pressing Alt E, you can extrude along a face's normals. If you have never heard of this, then I suggest you should drill this into your brain, because you can make some interesting stuff with this trick. And just like that, we're done with this cube. I told you it would be an easy shape to make. However, what wasn't easy was to get this cube to look good with the two tubes touching it. It took a bit of tweaking, but I eventually got something that looks good. We're almost done with the base model. We just need to model the trigger. For this, I added yet another cube. This is the fourth cube I've added. There was no reason for me to delete the default cube from earlier. What is wrong with me? Anyway, the trigger didn't take too long. It just needed some loop cuts and proportional editing, and that's it. We're done with the base model! Woo! Before we can move on to texturing, let's go back into the model and add some more details. Voila! Now let's texture this bad boy. For this, I imported the same reference photo I used for the modeling. Then, here's a neat trick. By pressing U, then clicking on Project from View, Blender will create a UV map of the object based on where you're facing. Now I just need to line up the UVs to the image and the image will project onto our model. However, this may all sound very cool and convenient, But I do not recommend texturing 3D objects like this. Like, at all. The whole project from view thing is useful. Don't get the wrong idea. But this is such a tedious process of constantly nudging these dots. The texture is even stretched on the sides of the model. The only reason I decided to do it like this is just so I can have the Nintendo Zapper written on the Zapper and whatever you can call this thing on the handle. I know there are much better ways to add stuff like this, but... Oh, and for some of the parts like the tubes that are just a single color, I just added a single color material to them just to save myself some time. And we're done with texturing! I do have a few problems with it, but it's acceptable, I guess. Say, did I ever mention that I was going to make a render out of this? Well, of course I'm going to make a render out of this. How can I not? I added a plane that will act as our floor, and I quickly noticed how annoying it was to box select all of the parts of the Zapper. Normally to fix this, I press Ctrl J, which basically joins models, meaning that I can select multiple objects at once with a single click. And for some reason, Ctrl J wasn't working for me. And guess what my solution was here? I just mashed Ctrl J hoping it would work. And this caused Blender to crash. And all of my texturing work was gone. So, here's a tip for aspiring 3D artists. Save! Although I had to redo a couple things, this wasn't a complete disaster as I went back in to model some holes because the Zapper has some of these holes and I figured that I should add some visible depth to them. And I also shaded the model smooth. I don't know why I completely forgot these two things, but I did. Now I have to texture the model again. After blood, sweat, and tears, well, mostly tears, definitely a lot of tears, we're finally back on track. And don't worry, I made sure to save. What was I doing before? Oh yeah, rendering. I added a plane that will act as our floor, again, and I want to give this floor a metal texture. Why a metal floor? Because metal is cool. I found this texture from cc0textures.com, and here's what it looks like on the plane. Is this considered good? I don't know. After positioning the Zapper, I added in a light and a camera. I didn't record the rest of this process because I was using Cycle's render engine and I was a bit worried that it would crash my recording program. So you know what that means? It means it's finally time to see the final result. And there you have it. As a little bonus, I added this little red glow because I thought it'd be cool. Anyway, is this render considered good? Well, if you have some feedback to give in either this render or this video, please let me know down in the comments. And this also marks the end of this video. I'm sorry if this video felt a bit rushed or just straight up bad. I just wanted to put something out. I will try to make better videos in the future and be a bit more active on the channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and hopefully it doesn't take me another century to upload again. This is Magic Cyborg, signing out.